morning. This is Bob again on a Wednesday morning, and hope your day has started out well. We're going to continue our series in Mark, looking at Mark chapter 12, verses 13 to 27. We'll have to move through it fairly quickly, but we're going to look at two instances of Jesus being challenged. The first, there were sent to him some of the Pharisees and the Herodians to try and trap him in his talk. Now, the Herodians and the Pharisees were on opposite ends of the political spectrum, but they were united in their opposition to Christ. And they said, first they flattered him a little bit, and then they said the question, in order to trap him, should we pay taxes to Caesar or not? Now, if he said yes, that they should, then the people wouldn't like that. And if he said no, then they could get him in trouble with Rome. But Jesus, seeing through it, went to the heart of the matter, and he said, give me a coin. He said, whose likeness and inscription is on this coin? They said, Caesar's. And Jesus said, well, then give to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and give to God the things that are God's. Something to consider here: when you mint a coin, you stamp it with the likeness of the authority that is behind that coin. God has stamped his image on the soul of every man. So Jesus is saying, give to the worldly rulers the things that are theirs. Give to God the things that are God's. Something to think about. The next set of people right after that, some Sadducees were sent to him, and the Sadducees did not believe in the resurrection. They did not believe in angels, and they were again trying to discredit or humiliate him. So they came to him with kind of an impossible scenario, with a guy, with a woman who, according to Jewish law, had married 7 brothers because of the death of one brother after the other. And they're saying, well, if there is a resurrection, whose husband is she in the resurrection? Well, Jesus saw through this again and answered them very directly in a way that really would challenge the Sadducees. First of all, he says, you're wrong because you neither know the scriptures nor the power of God. Well, the Sadducees prided themselves in knowing the law in particular. They were kind of like constitutionalists. They looked at the law and they didn't agree with any interpretation of the law at all. It was the law, and as it was written. And so this was a challenge to them, saying that they didn't know the scriptures or the power of God. And then Jesus says, when they rise from the dead, they shall neither marry nor be given in marriage, but are like the angels in heaven. Well, the Sadducees didn't believe in angels either. And Jesus is speaking with authority. He's speaking from what he knows. And it's pretty clear to them because they couldn't really answer him back. And then he said, as for being raised from the dead, he took them back to their own scriptures. And he said, God spoke to Moses out of the bush, saying, I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. That was present tense, talking about the living. So he didn't say, I was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He says, I am. And so he says, he's not the God of the living, of the dead, but of the living. You are quite wrong. Obviously, he wasn't making any friends, but at the same time, he was instructing them. So in all of this, he wasn't just opposing them, but he was actually instructing them for those who would listen. And when we get here on Friday, we'll look at somebody who did listen. And so come back on Friday, and we'll talk about that. Thank you.